Hey, this is Ryan from Straight Ahead Samples. In this video, I'm going to see how fast I can write a full big band arrangement using Atomic Big Band the horns in Dorico. I have no idea what I'm going to write. I just have an empty project here set up. And let's see. So I know a few qualifications. I want it to be a decent length, like a couple minutes, so it could actually pass as a complete piece of music or a cue or something like that. And I also know that in order to fill that amount of time, let's not make the tempo too fast. For sake of speed here, let's pick a preset form. So I'm going to choose a blues, a minor blues that's not too fast. And then what I'm going to go ahead and do is set up the project in 12-bar choruses and then outline some things and then see what happens when I fill it in. So first let's go to the project here and let's go ahead and instead of just entering notes right away, let's mark out the form. That will give me some framework. So we have 12 bars. I like to use the double bar feature. And let's go ahead, let's put a rehearsal mark there. Let's go ahead and just say, put a rehearsal mark here. Maybe I'll add an intro later. Let's go ahead and write in at least 3 choruses, right? So that would put us over here. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and then we have 25. Bar 25, let's put a rehearsal number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and there we are. So we already have an A, a B, a C, and I went ahead and added a D. Okay, now let's tap out a tempo. So I'm going to go here. I said I don't want it to be too fast because we want to cover time here, frankly. We're going to make it easy to cover a lot of time, but I'm not just going to write whole notes. Let's see. Feel something's not too fast. All right, so I write about 102 I've got in there. So then I go to the beginning of the piece and say create that tempo marking. Now let's go ahead and make it swing too. So I'm going to write and create a rhythmic feel. And by default, let's see if it's medium swing. There we go. We could just do A minor. And oh, by the way, I need to load up my composer piano. So let's pick the real piano here. Okay, there's the piano I have loaded up. Okay, so I have a piano loaded in Contact outside of Dorico that will serve as my composer piano, as I like to call it. So I have the keyboard in front of me here so I can hear notes. I like to be able to play piano separately from entering notes here. So let's choose a key. A minor, a little bland. Let's say we're going to bring it up to C minor. We're going to go down the flat zone. Here we go. So we're going to go 3 flats, and we're going to create that right there. Right at the beginning. Okay, so now, before I enter any notes, let's go ahead and come up with some concepts of the arrangement. So I know I've got 13 horns, piano, bass, and drums. I'm going to just start in the melody right at the beginning and maybe add an intro later. So I'm going to write in some of these notes. If I go Shift X, let's just go octave sax melody to start the first chorus. And then let's go over here. Let's just say, trombones take over the melody, and then we'll say sax fills, some trumpet, let's just call them stabs. We're going to put that in. And then let's say third chorus, let's have 2D, 4 bars, then someone take a solo for the last 8 bars of the blues. And then let's bring it down to piano. Let's see, piano, solo for the first 8 bars of this chorus, and then let's say end tutti. Once again, not trying to be genius here, just trying to say give it some shape and say the first thing that comes to mind, giving myself total freedom to change that as we go along. So let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Sometimes I like to count rather than try to do math because it's actually faster. Let's go ahead and select from there to the end. I'm just going to delete that. It's a little less intimidating to not see too many empty measures. We want to see just the right amount of empty measures, giving ourselves freedom to add more later. Let's make that a nice double bar. There we go. Okay, so now let's got my piano here. We're going to come up with a little sax. I'm going to say octave. So let's pick a good range where the alto is up kind of here, and the tenor is going to be an octave lower there, and then we'll maybe add some bari notes in. So we're here in C minor. Oh, by the way, it can be good to write some chords too, right? So let's just start off with C minor. Let's make it C minor 6. Let's make it simple blues, C minor 6 for 4 bars. And then let's go F minor 6. The minor 6 is a little more interesting. This the straight triad or the straight 7 chord. Also, let's make sure that we can view the chords. Yeah, the chords are in the piano part. Okay, and then we have let's go back to C minor 6. And let's just do the first thing that comes to mind, which is the flat 6 dominant turn around instead of a 2 5 1. So let's go A flat 7, G7, and let's go back to C minor. And I won't worry about a turnaround yet. We'll just see what happens with the melody. So that's what we're dealing with to start off with here. Just kind of going with the flow. Now let's get back to writing melody here in the first verse. So let's kind of feel the groove. We felt the groove was right. If I turn on the metronome, we have, there's the time. It's gonna write the first thing. 1, 2, 3. You know what? As fate would have it, I wrote a pickup measure, didn't I? So let's add a bar in there. Yep. So 1, 2, 3. And then let's come from the next. Let's go. It's exactly the right part we want to be at here, which is to end of 1. Two, 3. 3, 4. Yeah, I want to be on the hand of 4. Let's move these over. And let's put a little Dorico right here. So I'm going to go ornament. Let's add a scoop here. Scoop here. Might add another scoop. And then we're going to make that a staccato note. Doit. And let's echo that phrase on the end of 3 over here. So we're going to go. Let's see, we're on the. So C minor 6. And let's go to F minor 6. So now we're going to have the A flats to deal with, not the A naturals. And let's start. No, I don't want to start on the E flat. Yeah, just go right up the F minor triad. Don't overthink it. These over. Echo that phrase. 2, 3. Yep, just go right down the F. And then let's go back, copy this phrase again, right there. Then we're back on the same layer. So let's sample what we have so far. I need, yeah. And then let's just bring it to a turnaround. Kind of sounds Mancini-ish, doesn't it? So we're going to have some triplets. This is the first thing that I played. So we're just going to write that. Oh, we want eighth triplets, don't we? So let's get eighth triplets. Yeah, and then we'll get out of triplets. And let's go. So yep, bring that down. I'm going to copy this rhythm, but change the you know, you got to do the sharp 5 on the G. Which is the blues third. Doo-dop. Now, it gets kind of low down there, but I think that'll work. 2, 3, doo-dop. All right, let's put that. Doo-dop. And then, yeah, I could put that an octave higher for a while, but let's go ahead and copy that into the other saxes. I'm going to do alto 2 in unison. We're going to do the tenor down an octave. I typically like to have tenor saxophone 1 in treble in concert pitch and tenor 2 in bass. It's just the way that kind of I end up writing and what looks right to me. Let's get rid of these extra text here. I'm going to fix this. Hang on. So we have these in octaves, and let's put in a bass part here. We're just going to walk it out. And then that's it. And then we'll imagine it going back up to a C. Okay, so we got a bass part in there. Let's just start off with the drums, nice and simple, with a hi-hat. Yeah, we don't want to be in the slash voices, do we? Let's just go to where are we here? Voices, rhythmic slashes, normal notes. I like to just write in hi-hat. And then we're going to go repeat that over to a 5, repeat that over, shift, and then we repeat that over. And then let's go. You know what? I don't have to do that. Let's just write one measure and then write the bar repeat sign, and Dorico will play that. So let's just put in a little kick drum. Just a very simple timekeeping thing like that. And then we'll go ahead and just write in the bar repeat region here. Okay, so let's see, do I need to add anything else? We have a melody in octaves in the saxes, a bass line, and a drum, a basic drum set part. And it should automatically play these as swing eighths. Sometimes in the drum, I do like to write those as dotted eighths, sixteenths, just so it visually looks a little harder. But I mean, like harder swing, but we'll keep it as eighths for now. And let's, now I'm tempted to press play and hear this, but let's see if there's anything else I'm thinking about adding in before I press play and hear what this sounds like. A dynamic can help a lot. So let's just put in mezzo forte here, 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 here. Could put in slash marks on the piano. Now let's just put a piano note right here in this this little fill. That'd be kind of cool. Let's put in a really high C on the end of 2. Yeah, a little character half step. Then it's getting more and more Mancini-like, isn't it? See, I don't know where this is coming from today. Yeah, let's see if we can find another spot to echo that, which would be right here. And then let's do a piano fill here before we pass that melody over to the trombones. And I'll press play on this chorus after I write this in. Well, let's stick with that cute little half step thing. Let's see what that sounds like. Okay, so now I'm going to press play from the beginning. I have no idea if the mix is right, so I'm going to bring up the mixer down here. Make some adjustments. Let's see what we got. All right, I had this alto soloed on accident. Let's play all of them. Alright, that sounds good. One thing that occurred to me to make this sound better is try to get a little more reverb if possible on these saxes. I'm going to move them further back here. Let's make sure we have a reverb. Yeah, we have this loaded. All right, not trying to be super impressive or hip. I just have some notes down that sounds like a decent melody. So I'm just going to follow the plan here and add this to the trombone. So I'm going to copy the tenor part and let's add this to trombone 1, 2, and 3 in unison. And then I'll do some punches with the bass trombone in a few places here. But let's go ahead and give it to it. Sure. And let's add some other things in the saxes here. So now we have the trombones playing the melody. And I'll go ahead and copy the same bass part over again. And then over here for the second chorus, let's switch the drums to the ride cymbal and just go ride, ride, ride. And it just occurred to me, what we could do is have the bass in 2 on the first A section. So I might change that back. All right, so now I got the same melody again in the trombones, but we need to do something with the saxophones in between. So I'm going to go ahead and hear that. What does that sound like? See if any ideas come to mind. Oops, let's put in the bar repeat in the drums. Let's put some long notes in the saxophone. Let's put that as a dotted. Yep, there we go. Down. I'll harmonize that later. Down. And instead of a piano fill in bar 4, let's put a saxophone fill. 4, 1, and Yep, let's copy the rhythm that was first here, and we're gonna put a fall on this note. Fall on this note. Yep. Okay, let's go ahead and harmonize that. Right, first let's copy in that. I'm just going to do a 4-part close to keep it simple. So imagining this is a C minor 6-chord in an inversion. Oh. This is the next note down in the chord. Now that's, there we go. And then this is F minor 6, so that should be correct. Just like that. Let's do these. Let's go ahead and finish this phrase here. So we have C, A. This needs to be on a G, and then we're going to fall on the E flat. And then we're going to have this on an E flat. A, G, E flat, and this will be on a C. And this should be in unison with the top part, but we need to bring that down an octave. So we have C, A, G, flat, C again, and then we have A, G, E flat, and this would need to be a C, and that would need to be an A natural. Right, okay, and then we have this nice phrase, which I'm going to do the same thing. Let's copy that down and then change the notes. And this is where a lot of the time gets taken up in big band arranging, is when you're actually doing voicings. So I'm not going to do that too much for this speed writing, but we definitely need to put it in for it to sound authentic. So let's go ahead and just 4-part close here. Da, 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 da. So we have C, A, G, and we're going to go down to an E flat here, and then we make sure that this is also on the C. This is an octave lower than the lead part. We have A, let's go up to down to G, A, G, E flat, C, A, and then here we have a G, E flat. We're going to go to C, A natural, and then A flat. No, we're going to keep it a D because it's at minor 6. There we go. And let's do this as kind of an F minor 6/9-ish kind of thing. So we'll give the D there, C here. We have G, D, C, A flat, and we'll have a nice little half step crunch there. So we have and then let's just do some nice long notes on the turnaround, which I do need to copy the chords in, but I can easily find right here. Let's do a spread voicing, why not? So we'll put the berry on the root. Bo, and we'll start at the end of 4. Why not, right? 0, 2, 3, 4. Bo. There we go. Okay. So, and it's going to build this chord kind of from the bottom up in a way. So let's go. Put the root 7th. Let's go right to the 3rd here. And then we'll put the 5th. Yeah, and then it'll give us a nice 9th on the top. And then I'll make this a G7 sharp 9, sharp 5 with the E flat and the G staying on the top, and then this will go down to a B natural for the G7 chord, and this will go down to an F, and then this will go down to a G. Now I'm going to add some articulations on this to make this come to life. So let's add a dynamics. Let's add a forte piano, crescendo, diminuendo on both of these notes. Right, very good. Now with straight ahead samples, atomic big band, the horns, we have these playback techniques built in. So what I'm going to do is highlight these, and then I'm going to go to properties over here and suppress playback on the built-in ones, and then I'm going to add in our forte piano, crescendo, diminuendo playback. Right. Okay, now let's hear this second chorus, see if it's any good at all. I just realized something that maybe you guys all realize, is that the trombones are not rhythmically placed right when I copied them in. I did it so fast that it just looked right. But so what I want to do is I want to make sure that they copy the same rhythmic placement as the opening saxophones. So that starts on the end of 3. So that should sound a lot better. Let's go ahead and slide all those over. So I'm just going to grab those together. I just hold down Option and press to the left, and it just moves them all over. There we go. Now, as I'm hearing this melody back, I'm starting to think that this tempo is a little too slow, a little too kind of lame. So let's hide these signposts for just a second here. And let's make this more like, I don't know, 126, a little faster maybe? Okay, let's hear it from the beginning. Okay, I should have let it keep going. I was going to stop it and put some more reverb in, change the reverb, but... Okay, now I'll be the first to admit that that sounds pretty hokey, but I know given my experience, I know the way you sculpt the sound and the tempo can make a huge difference in the mood of the pieces. So instead of trying to write more notes or to make this more hip, this kind of just sounds like it's kind of like a corny Halloween haunted kind of blues. So in order to sell that, I need a different reverb. So instead of this subtle studio reverb here, we need this to be a different reverb altogether. So let's pick, or you know what would be actually really good is if I just use the Atomic Big Band, the horns reverb built in more. So I'm going to go to my rack here where I have Atomic Big Band, and I'm going to put more room on all these. So I'm just going to click the room mic on, and I'm going to turn the reverb up some. Let's just do that really fast. Room, reverb up a little higher. Let's go to room, mic on, reverb up. Room on, reverb up. Let's go the same thing here. Room on, reverb up. I haven't used the trumpets yet, but I'm planning on it, and I know they're going to need some more reverb than that. Okay, they're already loaded with some room sound already on. Just give them some more reverb for this, because this is going to be a sparse, quick, down and dirty arrangement. Okay, trombones already have a good amount, though, or at least the first one are. Trombone 3 already had a good amount on there. 2 and 3. Okay, let's see how that changed the sound. You know what? I'm also realizing it'd be a lot cooler if I just went ahead and made the bass a 2 feel on the first chorus. So let's just change it 7. And then I like to start walking in the 12th bar. That should lead into that. So let's see what this sounds like. There we go. Man, it's amazing how much when you get the mix better, it sells the arrangement a lot better. What sounded corny now starts to sound like a piece of music with a mood to it. I could still use some more reverb. Alright, so now we have a melody to chew on, something we've heard a couple times. And though it hit my ears a little hokey the first time, after it kind of got grooving and when the bass started walking, I added some more reverb to it. It started to take on a mood all its own, and I started to kind of get into it a little bit. So those things, other than just the notes, make a huge difference, and which is why our playback tools at Straight Ahead Samples are a vital tool for composers to. I gotta hit stop here. That's why it won't let me scroll over to really get into their compositions and make it sound. So let's see if we can add a couple more things. I'm just gonna add some more scoops. I'm just going ahead and say it's kind of a spooky melody. Lots of scoops. Let's add a scoop here. Let's add a fall in here. And let's make this note short. Staccato, yeah. Instead of scooping up, let's change that to a fall. I'm going to remove the scoop, and then I'm going to make a fall. Since it's a long note, let's do a long fall. That is a special playback template device that we have in our playback template, but I'm going to put it in parentheses so it doesn't appear in the notation. Dweeded it down. Let's add a forte piano crescendo on this note. I'm not going to add it in the notation. I'm just going to add it in the playback. I keep forgetting I have a signpost hidden sometimes. Right. View signpost. Yeah, that helps. Okay. I don't need to. I'm gonna add that on that note. And let's make this note really snap with the jazz marcato symbol, which is shorter and louder. And then we're gonna bring the dynamic down for the backgrounds here. And let's go ahead and add a nice scoop. Those way down. Nice scoop up to here. Now that does sort of overlap with the trombone melody. I don't need that. I originally wrote it when I had the trombone melody in the wrong place when I was looking at it, because we want it to play opposite the trombone melody. Now I said I was going to add maybe some trumpet stabs in here on the second, but I don't have anything that's coming to mind, so let's just skip that. And let's go ahead and write in a drum fill in the 12th bar here. So we're let's add a triplet. What did I do? I always have too many triplets. Try that again. Oh yeah, it's in the top voice. Doing something weird here. Okay. Need to cut this part out. Because what was happening? Da 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 boom. Just gonna write a very basic fill in here and deal with that, but we're gonna make the bass stop. Da da da. And you can add a grace note. That sometimes adds a lot, or a flam, as you might call it. Da 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 flap boom. Then we're gonna write. Okay, so we have our 2D chorus here, as I've pre-decided, where I'm just going to write all 4 bars of the horns together. So we'll start with the lead trumpet, and now I have a choice. Let's see, do I play the same melody? I don't think so. I think I want to hear it as though this were like AA and this were like a new idea, because it's only 4 bars. So we ended with... That reminds me, this is going to sound a lot better if I put a forte piano on these notes. Sample, that is. There we go. And let's come up with the lead trumpet part for 4 bars. This is going to be a shout. We're going to write it forte or fortissimo. So we're going to be up here in this range. I'm just going to write the first thing that comes to mind. Let's add some blues notes. So it's kind of bringing back some of the motif I started earlier a little bit. Da 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 to. I'm gonna write that, tie that over. Da da. So we have da 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 da. Right, I'm gonna change this to be, and we're gonna and then just the first thing that comes to mind. And we'll lead into a solo. So we have dynamic in. And we definitely want forte piano crescendo on that one. I'm actually going to write in the dynamic. I'm going to go ahead and let it play back that along with the actual sampled forte piano crescendo for added effect. So let's go ahead and copy this in to the other trumpets and stick with the same 4-part close idea. So we're going to go start with that down a second. I will go back and edit these notes individually. Sometimes it's just nice to put them roughly in the right starting point, and you don't have to move them as far. Okay. So then we'll go and check every one. So let's start out with nice simple Z minor 6 chords, Z minor 6 all the way. Sometimes passing chords are overrated. We learn in jazz arranging, ands are diminished chords and all that, but sometimes it just distracts from the harmony. And I'm not going for something super hip here. I'm going for something kind of moody, and maybe, it ended up being kind of Mancini-like. So that's what we're getting for now. That's the melody. Keep it in my ear. I like to keep playing on piano rather than the horns. I don't like to press play until it's done. It just really slows things down because I'll get bogged down with how the horns sound, but I just need to put a melody in. So G, E flat, C, E natural, E flat, C, A natural, G. So I don't know what I'm going to do for that, but let's see where I want to land. Yes, why not just make that diminished? That just sound pretty good. It can tense against the. Oh. Yeah, so as we're aiming for a diminished chord there. All right, then how are we going to get there? So we could start a half step higher and go. Yeah, why not? I'll do that because I'm just going with the kind of spooky, hokey Halloween thing here. So we're going to go, yeah, half step above each one. Sometimes it's really nice just to lean into an aesthetic and don't fight it. Feels like Quincy Jones did that a lot in his instrumental arrangements. I mean, take like the soul bossa nova. I mean, that could easily be thought of as really corny, but the sound and the performance, man, it's just incredible. So just lean into the aesthetic sometimes. All right, let's add in, let's harmonize these notes over C minor. Let's say let's just do a diatonic passing. Diatonic major 7 because we just kind of came from that. Let's go. There we go. C, A, G flat. I think it's the minor 6 chord that kind of put me in that spooky kind of Halloween. That, and it's October, so go figure. Da 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 da. Yep. Okay. Staying on the C minor 6 world. Da da da. I'm going to copy this in the trombones and not have to do this all again. Now, it's interesting. When the trumpet gets up really high, you can keep it in 4-part close. Or you can double the... I'm going to double the lead here. I don't know. Something about just the way I hear it on the piano. I don't always like to hear the seconds that high, but there's no reason why you can't do that. I'm just going to make a decision here and make it be straight triad, because I also don't want to hit that A early. I want this A to hit harder here and not already be heard on this previous note. But that's just me. I don't know. It doesn't have to be that way. So that kind of keeps these notes the same, or I go down. Yeah, I think I got to go down because that went down. Yeah, okay, cool. So I have the brass, and then I'm going to copy that in the trombones down an octave. I said it was 2D, so I'm also going to put this in the saxophones. I'll just grab, say, from here to here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You know, I got an idea for the Barry. 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll just grab to here. But let's add some Barry solos here. Why not? Fill in these spaces. And then we'll add a C. That would be cool. And then we can kind of put the Barry on the downbeats while the rest of the band, maybe bass trombone too, but I'll just make it just Barry for now. Yeah. So if the rest of the band is going yeah, let's just lean into the character of the low C. Why not? See what that sounds like. We'll make it accented. And then we'll join them on this note. We will make it forte piano crescendo. And we'll forte piano crescendo. All right, now before I press play, I'm going to finish this chorus here. I said it was going to be a solo. Got piano over here. Da, 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 da. You know what? Let's make it a Barry solo. I'm going to get rid of what I just wrote and give it a space, and then we'll give it a solo right here. Just going with the first thing that came to mind. Now, I could just write slash marks for player and write solo, but I'm writing for playback here. So I'm actually going to write in a little solo. So let's see where we're coming from. Now it's going to come in on the 4 chord. Yeah, let's just go with that. What am I doing? So in the 4 chord there, yeah. Let's make sure if that makes sense. Nope, the A natural is not right because we're on the 4 chord. So, Yeah, let's forget this phrase. So I don't know if that really makes sense or not. I'm just putting in notes. So and then we have the A flat 7. Let's go. Not on the right denomination there. And then yeah. All right. Okay, so we're in the third course here. Now, what I really want to do to help this playback here is actually write in a drum part and bass part that synchronizes with this. So on the drums, I'm going to go da, 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 da. Just right. Let's do a little check. I'm going to make sure that Logic is actually recording me. Okay, it actually is. Good. Okay, so bop, bop. Okay, so we have the drum part here. Let's add a bat, a bat, a bat, and then we'll have. Let's go ahead. It's easier sometimes just to copy a rhythm in, and then change the notes, especially with the kind of an awkward rhythm to type in like that. Not worried about where it's going on the drum set yet. I'm just putting it on the snare. Da 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 da, and then we want to have a nice da 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 da. That da 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 da, and then we'll have da 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 da, and then and then we'll have time. So we'll go ting 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 ting. All right, and I'm just gonna write the bar repeat symbol for the rest of this. There we go. Let's put in the bass part. Let's just hit a C at the beginning. A D, 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 and we'll go. Let's just put the melody in. Ba, 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 ba. I don't know. Da, 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 da. Ba, ba, And then I'm going to not have the bass play this, but I'm going to have it walk into what it's doing on the next part. And I'm just remembering where we are in the chords. So C minor, and we're going to hit an F minor here. So I'm going to go, bo, bo, bo. Then we're on F minor. Okay, and we'll see if I even want to keep that next chorus as piano or not. So let's play back this third chorus, see if what we got. Oh, a lot of times I hit the solo track by accident. So let's just... Okay, so I didn't put a dynamic in here, which is why the barrier was so quiet. And then I had to boost the volume. Okay, so let's play it from the beginning now. I have 3 choruses, and then maybe I'll just make it 4 choruses long. Oh, by the way, you can check how many minutes you have at any time when you're pressing play, like here. Let's see, after the end of the third chorus, click the power here. So that is just over a minute with no intro. An intro can add some nice time to it, but I don't have that yet. Let's put a double bar. Let's move this A to be here, and then we'll put in a double bar there. Okay, cool. So let's see what we have from the beginning. Some piano. Yeah, I gotta put in some piano chords. Yeah. Alright, trombones. Walking. Yeah, still needs piano over top of this. Yeah, the piano really sells it. So I'm making a note to myself to come back and put that in. So piano on here. I'm going to add another Barry note in this measure. Kind of cool hearing the 9 down that low, gives it a lot of attitude. Yeah, it needs another honk in between, doesn't it? And then alright, so the piano really sold it. So I have 2 choices here. Don't write it in and write slash marks. I'm gonna not write it in because I'm a piano player and I'm just going to play it live every time I hear it back for fun. But you may need to take time. So I am going to write in, as part of the arrangement, I'm going to write in slash marks. Where are they? Oh, yeah. Create slash region. So I'm just going to play some fills and then let those half step things be where they are. Now I need to copy these chords over again. So let's just copy the chords over a couple times. It's amazing how stupid it sounded when I first played it back, but then once you get into it, it's like, okay, this is a tune. I can make something out of this. And then there we go. I now have at least one more chorus and an ending to try to put in there. So let me play it back one more time, and I'm going to play piano along with it here. Let's see. 1. Real bluesy. Ding. Try not to distract from the melody on the piano. Drum. Comp for the bear. What's gonna happen? I could do piano solo, but the piano's kind of played a lot. It's part of the background color of this piece, so I'm gonna just kind of piano play throughout the whole thing. So what should happen? And then we kind of have these 2 empty turnaround bars. So I'm gonna leave like that for now. Let's bring the dynamic down, and then we'll finish big. So. Let's imagine the bass and drums right here. Dynamics are gonna wind down. So dynamics bring it down. So let's start with what's the rhythmic feel here. Let's do like a little quiet chorus. Do I go to 2 or do I keep it in 4? Let's keep it in 4. Just gonna be quiet. I think people should use repeated notes more in bass. I don't know, it just swings to me and anchors it nicely. But maybe it's not your thing. Imagining this being played softly. Maybe I should bring this up an octave. That's what I should do. Right, this is soft and tiptoeing. It should be up here. Let's just copy that whole bass part. At least leave out that note. And then we'll go back to the hi-hat. So let me copy the hi-hat groove from the drums at the beginning. Paste it here. We're going to make the dynamic be piano. I'm just going to write mezzo piano on the bass. And then for now, we're just going to write create bar, repeat region. Now we have the bass up there. You know, what we could do, you don't have to do this for playback, but I could use the 8VA. There we go. So now we have kind of a bass tiptoeing thing. What are we going to put over that? The very soul. Maybe a muted trumpet would be kind of cool, wouldn't it? Let's put a muted trumpet solo. It's really soft. So we're going to say, let's just make it be the second trumpet. That's pretty much the tradition, right? And let's give it harmon mute. Or maybe we can make it a trumpet section in mutes. No, let's make it a trumpet section in mutes. That'd be better than right now, solo. Anyway, some nice long notes. Because they didn't have much yet. The trumpet just played that. So let's bring him in mutes here. So let's be kind of in this range. Let's do some interesting kind of tense long voicings to go over that. So minor 6 close is naturally tense, but I think we can do better than that. Let's bring in the 9. Let's go. Oh, that's cool. So we have 6/9 with the 9 on top. Let's make it an interesting rhythm. So let's come in on the end of 1 instead of beat 1. That'll work. So we're gonna add forte piano. I call these stings when the trumpet trumpet section is in a harmony mute and they play these like either short or long notes all together really close. Ding. Is that not right? I'm going too fast here. Forte piano. There we go. But we still want the dynamic to be mezzo piano. We have A, G, and we're on E flat, and then I want a D. So off 2, 3, 4, then do the same thing again. But we don't need the dynamic in there. Again. And maybe we put something else in the second and fourth. So that's what it's just sound like. Now all I have to do is change the voicing. There we go. Okay, let's check out what that voicing is. So we're gonna do and a 1 here. Let's go up. What I did was I had this. I think maybe it's too high for a mute. I mean, putting lead trumpet. What do you think? Is that too high, guys? I'm gonna do it, but it's not always the best practice to go that high on a mute. But I'm just gonna do it. Samples can do it. They're not gonna complain. So it's an A flat because this is the 4 chord, and then I'm going to add the 9 right under it as the second. It's really seconds, and the more seconds you can get in there, that's what gives you that tense sound. Seconds and extensions beyond the 7th. So we have C, A flat, G, D. Yeah, so it's on the 4 chord, and then we'll just go back to the 1 chord. Here. Maybe this would be nice backgrounds for a piano solo after all. And we'll do something different from the turnaround. So before I hit play, let's see here. We're going to have tiptoe and bass. And then let's take the mute out and do a surprise. That'll sound good. Okay, so now we're going to do open. There's mezzo piano. So, like the first 4 bars of this previous chorus started with the 2D and a Barry solo. We're going to have a solo here. Let's end the last 4 bars of this chorus with the 2D. 3, 4. All right, dynamic, forte, space, space, something, something, something. Boom, and then we'll see where we are with time. Okay, so let's harmonize that. This is gonna be, let's go ahead and keep it close for this. So A flat 7. To me, on a flat 6 dominant on a minor, you don't really need a lot of tensions on that. It's kind of like it's no intention in of itself, especially since you've had A naturals the whole time and you hit the A flat 7. It sounds fine to me, and I like to put a lot of tensions on the G7. So that's where the sharp 9s and sharp 5s kind of come in. At least that's my ear, and that's the way I tend to play piano. So I'm just translating that over to the horns. Then, all right, here we go. E flat, then down to the C. We'll see. I probably won't copy this exactly into the trombones to get a little bit more spread here. But we can repeat that note over to be the same. And we are kind of putting the G7 early back and forth between A flat 7 and G7. And I will make that sharp 5. I'll just remember that for the time being. And then I'm going to make this be the exact same thing. Right, but I don't need the dynamic again. But let's go ahead and write in accents, not staccato, accents. And then maybe unison. That'll be cool. So what we're gonna do here, I want brass, definitely all brass playing this. But do I want it down? No, I'm gonna build this from the bottom up. I have A flat, G. I'm just gonna put a root position chord here from the bottom up. It just kind of represents how I would do it on the piano in this situation. Maybe I'll change it. Let's just start with this. Yeah, G flat, F. So on the piano it would be. Yeah, see, when you don't have a tension on the A flat 7, but you do have the sharp 5 on the G, it sounds good. It sounds good. And then the lead's kind of doubled down there, but I'll put something in the sax and yeah. And unison. Octaves. This down another octave. And we're going to have. Let's bring back the way the Barry kind of honked in between the other. Well, there's a little teaser of what it sounds like over here. Let's make the whole sax section honk after this. Honk. Do that right there. I'm gonna build from the ground up. So we're gonna put a flat 1, 2, 3 on beat 3. Loud. It's gonna be. So yeah, so we went A flat 7, G7. It kind of stays G7 for the rest of that bar. So I'm going to go ahead and mark that. Copy the chords here and here. Let's add that up to. Let's see where we go in the chord. See what we get. G flat. Put a C. Good. Maybe we should be higher. Oh, no, it's supposed to be a G, not an A flat. Let's bring these down. G. Sharp 5 is good. It's supposed to be G. There we go. F. That would be really thick with that E flat and that F down there. We'll see if we'll allow it. No, I don't like that. Let's just go right to the F. Let's put the B natural here. Yeah, then we'll be at E flat here. Now, let's see. That would put another G on the top, but that doesn't sound very cool with the root just on the top again. Kind of hearing the upper two notes do a doit on this for some reason. I don't know. Yeah, let's give it the sharp 9. What does it sound like if just these 3 do a doit? No, not caps. And let's give everybody that unison. Really powerful. Put that down. I don't know. Do you guys ever put one tenor saxophone up and one tenor saxophone down? Let's just do that. Maybe it's best practice to have both down, but I have the Barry here. Maybe the Barry should go here. Yeah, that's what it should do. And then this should be same as that. It doesn't. Yeah, and we gotta change the bass because it's not tiptoeing through all that, is it? Kind of quiet. We gotta have something else happening. Maybe it's still piano. Yeah, at least these two measures need to be that. The bass doesn't need to play at all. Or come here. Then it's gonna go back to walking, tiptoeing. But it's not done, so we gotta add some more bars here. 2, 3, 4. I'm just hearing like a triplet drum fill. Yeah, we don't need that going all the way to the end, though, do we? Sometimes my zooming gets a little exaggerated. Does yours ever do that? Zoom in and out. That worked perfectly. I just want that to happen on every beat. There we go. Okay, now it's liking me copying that in. And let's put a dynamic crescendo. There we go. Could probably do something more interesting than that, but we're just failing the time to the horns. Come back in and let's hear the melody one more time. How are we going to do that? So the melody, let's remind ourselves, was yeah, so this is the melody. And let's paste it in somewhere over here. Alright, trumpet 1, right? 2, 3. There we go. I don't need to keep playing. 1, 2, 3. I didn't add the dynamic that it goes up to. Okay, we didn't actually hear this back yet either, so what else can happen here? I could just have piano continuing to fill. I do want to put flash marks here. Okay, so I don't have any. I mean, I could just write out. Let's just write out another solo here. So let's give a trombone solo. Why not? 3, 4. Just writing some eighth notes. Not the hippest thing in the world, but it gets us going. 3, 4. So it's going to be too high to be moody and soft like I want it. So let's keep it down low. one's too high. I don't know. Starting on the and is definitely better than just the downbeat. Again. What if we just kind of hit that note in triplets? Eighth triplets. I do that all the time. I even kind of play with that interval. Yeah, I think we gotta flat that. Wait. All right, let's see what this chorus sounds like. They're gonna make sure the trombone is not too loud either, even though it's soloing. Alright, I liked it from about here over. Let's not flat that. But this first part was really stupid. Sometimes you take out those. Let's put a fall on that. Alright, let's try this. That there. So we take something that's corny and just a few little changes. I would probably make that second thing something 16th notes if I were to hear it again. But you take something corny and you make a few little edits and then it kind of grows on you. You kind of like it. Sometimes the best tunes are created that way. You know what? I just want to hear this in the saxophones again. Let's just end up right where we started. Don't need to always hear something new. Sometimes it feels good to hear the same thing again. So let's, I already wrote it out once. Let's just go back and copy it. I might change the ending. But I did kind of tease like the dynamics were going up, didn't I? That would be cool if that kind of surprises like it's going up, but then the dynamics come back down. And I should have had it just start mezzo piano if it's going to be like that. And then we go big, and then we go like we're going to go bigger, and then it just comes right back. Right. And then we're back to a 2 feel, back to the hi-hat thing. So I'm going to copy that exactly like that. What did I copy wrong here? Let me get back and get that bass part. Yeah, up an octave. There we go. Okay. We know the chords by now. So the first time it was just saxophones playing, and then we didn't have anything else going. But let's see what else do we need to bring in. I guess piano's still going to play. That was a vital part of the arrangement at the beginning. Let's bring the piano part back and do that same little thing. This would be a great ending to end on right here too. These little eighth note things. Yeah, let's make that be the ending. And then the question to put a last note on there. Okay, so we have the bari sax, trumpets, and trombones to deal with these last 12 bars. How long is this, by the way? If I'm all the way over here, where does our little time thing say we're at? Almost 2 minutes. All right, now I got an idea to make this spill over the 2-minute mark, adding on an intro. So let's see, what are we going to do here? We had this little false bill. Back down. That feels like right here with the piano, we need to put it in there. And a brass hit. Yeah, we need to put it in. So. Not too high. Didn't mean to do that. Let's put in to and. Yeah, sometimes it's better just to put it in manually. If it's just one note. I want to have that second in there. I really want to have that second. So this is the voicing. And since it's muted, let's make this be plunger mute. Since it's quieter, rather. So we'll go to a couple different ways of doing this, but the most visual way is. I know. So that'll be kind of like a jump scare kind of thing too. We'll act like we're just tiptoeing along here in the two feel. We'll go. And what to do with the bass? Is the bass just play too, or do we hit it with this? I think we gotta get out of the way. And let's put it here. Same voice. Then we have the melody. Oh, we want to put the bari with this playing. For some reason, I just like that top. What if we did that on the trumpets? That would be awesome. Really screechy. The top trumpet plays a C. Like that. D, 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 D. But the second trumpet is going to play a B. I didn't want to do it over here, but let's do it right here. Let's do it. Let's get a beat. B naturals here. That. And since that is so close, we'll make sure that the fourth trumpet is doubling that. So what should the third trumpet do? Not there. Yeah, just give it the E flat. Make sure we hear that's minor up there with the crunchies. Now what to do? Should it just be trumpets? If it's just trumpets, it seems like it calls for a thump. Yeah, let's give that on beat 4. Trombones. Bam. Let me give this down an octave. And then the Barry. And I think it'd be cool to hear some tenors with that on the tenor trombones. Just the tenors, though. There we go. Let's make this dynamic forte. And then we'll add a marcato on that. And a kick drum. Kick drum. So this is the groove we got going here. It's gonna do the same thing again. Yep, this groove. 1, 2, 2. There we go. Bar repeat. Let's hear this last chorus. Sounds weird without the piano chord playing minor. Yeah, now since smart delay is on, we need to add 1 extra empty bar here. Said 1. Now it was kind of awesome hearing the plungers playing half steps off. I forgot they were still in plunger, but that's perfect. Okay, so we're just barely shy of 2 minutes, but I wanted this to be like a real piece here. We got to spill over the 2-minute mark. So let's add some bars at the beginning. 4 at least. So yeah, what are we gonna do? We could start with just the hi-hat. Let's start with just hi-hat and piano. I'm just leaning into the Mancini thing. I had no idea I was gonna go in this direction, but that's where it kind of went. Just repeat that over. Let's do something with this half step since we're coming back to it at the end. So, 3 F-O. Yeah, no bass, just piano. So, maybe even higher. One, dang. Yeah. I got an extra measure that I don't need. Let's put a chord on that. Right, and actually this is supposed to be over here. I only needed to add 3 measures when I was doing that. We can get rid of this first measure up here. So we have ding, ding, We're into that melody there. Could add piano slash marks throughout. Where does that put us with the length? Right over the 2-minute mark. All right, we're just gonna go with that. Let's see the whole thing. I'll play piano along with it. So I wrote in some piano and I'll fill in the rest. Here we go. Nope, not slash marks. I don't want slash marks. I want bar repeat so it actually plays the bar before. Okay, here we go. Trombones could use some more reverb. More room too. I had an extra measure there. How'd that happen? Oh, the extra measure happened here, not at the end. You guys probably caught that when I put it in. I wasn't looking. Bar needs to go at the end. Shift bar. There we go. Okay, now I could stop there, but what did I say I forgot to do? I forgot to do a couple things. Oh well, I'll go and add those back in. But that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed me watching this piece. Let's give it a title. Go to the page view here. Let's call it, what do we want to call it? Let's call it Bob's Haunted Playground.